Hey, my name is Serge. Welcome to Board Game Detectives. Today we will talk about Grand Austria Hotel. This game is fantastic and it is one of my all-time favorites. It gets the rating of Excellent Casual Plus, which corresponds to CYAN color in my color wheel system where I put games into 6 different buckets. You can read more about that in the description below. Today we will talk about things that I like about this game and what I don't like about this game. But before that, let's talk about the name. And it is purely subjective, but I do not particularly like the name Grand Austria Hotel. I think it might have negative impact on the sales, because the name is not as appealing as hundreds of other names. But what's more important, this name limits the game for future development and expansions. Let me explain. As an example, we will use Ticket to Ride, another one of my all-time favorites. I love the name Ticket to Ride because it does not limit the game for future expansions. For example, if they called it Grand America Railroad, that would be the end of it. We would not get something like Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. So I really like the name that leaves this freedom for future developments and expansions. I wish they called Grand Austria Hotel something like, if you go with silly names like that, let's say Room to Stay Austria. With such a name, then they could use this fantastic engine and mechanics and they could develop something like Room to Stay Bali, Indonesia, Room to Stay Maldives, Dubai, Arctic, Underwater, On the Moon, or Vikings. The list can go on and there are so many different themes that you can explore, and by changing slightly the services and the type of hotels, you can keep the game alive forever. They did not do this. I wish they did. Anyway, the game is fantastic. Let's talk about the things that I like about it. To begin with, this game is very simple because it has very logical and intuitive flow of actions. I read the rule book once and it clicked right away. For some games, you need to go back and forth trying to understand complex systems. Not here. Everything is very straightforward. This would make this game very friendly and approachable to new players. You can quickly explain the rules and they will make sense and everyone can enjoy the game from the very first play. Let me show you. You are a hotel owner competing against a couple of other hotel owners. All of you are trying to attract guests to your resorts. Let's say we invite this gentleman. When he comes, first he goes to our restaurant area and he orders 1 cake and 2 coffees. Now, next step, you need to prepare that food. For that, you would use the cake, the dessert action here, and the drink action here to make the desired coffees and cake. Then you can serve them to this gentleman. While he is enjoying his desserts and drinks, you need to go and take this action to prepare the room for him. He needs a blue room. So you would go here and you would prepare this blue room for him. So now he's satisfied with his desserts and drinks and he's ready to go to the room which is prepared for him. So you would move him to the room and now this room is occupied. As a gratitude for the excellent services that you have provided, your guest will reward you with some victory points and some other extra bonuses, which will greatly help with your gameplay. But even that is not enough. You do need more helpers, and that's where you can hire more staff that will help you with different tasks. Like they can give you some one-time benefits, like food here, or the benefit can be ongoing and you'll be getting it every round. Or there will be some benefits with the actions that you are taking, or more bonuses with the end game scoring. Without helpers, without staff, it is hard to win this game. While you are conducting your business, you also need to stay on a good terms with the local authorities. This track here shows how good your relationships with the emperor are, and if you are high enough, you will get victory points and some rewards. But if you fall too low, you will get a penalty. Now you're almost ready to play this game. Let me just first explain you how the dice mechanism works, which is the second most favorite feature in this game for me. Every round, the dice are rerolled and grouped by their face value on the 6 available actions. Let's say this turn I need to make some drinks for one of my guests. So I will go to action number 2. Here we have 3 dice, which means that I can take 3 drinks. Well, I can pay another $1 and get an extra drink, but let's say I don't have money to spend, so I stay with just 3 drinks. Another very cool mechanism here is that coffee is made more valuable compared to the wine. The rule says that there should be more or same quantity of wine as coffee. So this would work in my case. I can take either 3 wine or 2 wine and 1 coffee. I cannot take 2 coffee with 3 dice. So this makes different tiers or levels of drinks and desserts important, which is very cool. I like it a lot. When I take this action, I would take this die off the action board, which means that the next person, if they go here, they can take only 2 drinks. And they, let's say, do this. So for the following person, only 1 drink is left. So they have an option to pass, which again, another mechanism which I really like about this game. You can pass if you don't like the dice, and then when everyone passes or takes their turns, the dice are rerolled again, and in the process 1 die will be lost and all others will be rerolled. And this person who passed now can pick their actions with the remaining dice. And if they don't like it again, they can lose 1 more die and reroll, and eventually, hopefully, get to the dice that they need. So we have very cool thematic flow of actions, and we have fantastic dice mechanism. Number 3, what I love about this game is that those 2 elements nicely merge together and provide this ecosystem that works and all elements interact in a beautiful way. Let's say you really want to invite this blue guest because he will provide you with 10 victory points, which is a lot. But then you check your rooms and you see that if you complete your last red room in this section, you can score $10, which you really need right now. So now you're interested in this guest. But this guest comes at $3 cost, which is a lot, it's expensive. So now you are considering your other options, which is, okay, for every completed yellow room, you can get 3 victory points at the end of the game. So the yellow guest is attractive to you. While doing all that, you should also pay attention to the objective cards. For each of them, you can score 15 points if you are the first one to complete the requirements. This is really important and cool. Then you always have to keep an eye on the Emperor track because you do want to get the bonuses and you don't want to get the penalties. And on top of that, you have the dice situation, which dictates how much of what resource you can get. Surprisingly, with so many different options and decisions to make, there is very little analysis paralysis in this game. The game is very smooth and easygoing. The simple rules make the experience enjoyable. You can easily score the combos that you need. You don't need to stress about your options and about your decisions. Very easygoing game, and I really love it. There are some things that I don't like about this game. Let's quickly discuss those. Number 1, relatively speaking, there is low interaction between players. Yes, everyone is competing for the same guests, but normally you would have 1 or 2 guests already sitting in your restaurant and you have to service them anyway. So the third guest becomes less critical and there are options for you. Then you compete for the same dice, but same story. You can switch your strategies on the go. You can pick a different action. And if anyone takes die that you wanted, it's not the end of the world. You can change your strategies. Objective cards is something that is important, but it's more like a race and not the interaction between players. So not much interaction, which many people would like. I prefer more interaction. Number 2 comes out of the first one, and it is downtime. It can be relatively high. because while people are managing their boards, servicing their customers, opening and managing their rooms, working with the dice, all other players need to sit and wait for their turn. So it can become lengthy if someone takes their time to do all their actions. Many would be concerned with the inherent luck coming from the dice rolling, but I found that it's not an issue. You have full control over the game, and yes, dice are changing every round, and often they are not what you need, but you can work around that. So I would say this is not a factor. It works beautifully and it's fine. So here we are. Grand Austria Hotel is a fantastic game which is good for both more advanced players because it provides cool mechanisms and deep strategic choices, but also for more casual players because everything is streamlined and simplified, which makes this game very accessible. I love this game and I highly recommend it. If you are still watching, please let me know in the comments, did you have a chance to play this game, and especially with the more casual players. I wanna know about your experience. Thank you and see you next time.